the GreenScreen program, I like to think of it as having sort of this suite of hazard assessment tools, and at the foundation is the GreenScreen for Safer Chemicals, which is the first piece of the program. The GreenScreen was published back in 2007, and the GreenScreen for Safer Chemicals is a hazard assessment methodology that was really designed to identify both chemicals of concern as well as safer alternatives. And some aspects that we hear from users that make it unique and valuable to them include the fact that the methodology itself is transparent. You can download it on our website. It's hazard-based. It's scientifically robust, systematic, very comprehensive. It's developed by Clean Production Action in partnership with scientific leaders from around the world, from all types of organizations, from business to nonprofit to government to academia. In terms of how a chemical is assessed with GreenScreen, there's kind of these 4 key steps. You have to identify the chemical that you're going to assess. Step is to collect the data and information on that chemical that is then used to classify hazards. And then those hazards, the classifications of those hazards are rolled up into a score. And typically this type of assessment, because it's very comprehensive, is performed by a toxicology firm that is licensed by Clean Production Action to provide these services. So for each of these GreenScreen hazard endpoints, then we developed a set of hazard criteria. And what these hazard criteria do is allow you to assign a score, a high, moderate, or low for each of those 18 hazard endpoints. And this is just an excerpt, but the assessor takes all the data and information that they find, and that includes presence or absence on some authoritative lists, as well as data. So it could be measured data, animal studies, or human epidemiology studies. It could be estimated data from computer modeling or looking at surrogates or analogs, et cetera. So all the available data information is combined and compared to the criteria. And what comes out after that step is what we call a GreenScreen hazard summary table. And what's really amazing about this is that at a single glance, you can really get a sense of the overall hazard profile of a chemical. You've got the different hazard endpoints, and then the hazard level. L is low, M is moderate, H is high. You've got a VH and a VL for very high and very low. They're color coded so that you can get that basic impression at a glance. And so there's a lot of information like in here that's then backed up by hundreds and hundreds of pages of summarized data and rationale and conclusions. Then that hazard summary table is taken and compared with the GreenScreen benchmark criteria, which are a series of hazard endpoints and hazard levels that get combined to create the criteria. And this allows you to roll up that score for that chemical across all those 18 endpoints into a single score that allows you to place those chemicals on a continuum and can really inform decision making. So this is the decision logic. That weaves all of that complexity, and there's a lot of transparency around how those conclusions are made, but then you get the simple score that can easily be communicated. In terms of how the benchmarks criteria were set, and a little bit more about the benchmark 1, again, we looked at global precedents for what regulatory agencies around the world were using to ban or restrict chemicals. And so this definition is fairly harmonized definition of chemicals of high concern, which include CMRs, carcinogen, mutagen, reproductive and developmental toxicants, PBTs, persistent and bioaccumulative and toxic, and other types of equivalent concerns such as endocrine disruptors. In terms of how you get a GreenScreen assessment, we've got these toxicology firms called licensed GreenScreen profilers. You can contact them directly to find out what assessments they've done or to get a new assessment done or purchase an existing assessment. There are also databases that host any freely available assessments. Clean Production Action has a GreenScreen store. Data Commons is listed here. And there are a few others. Interstate Chemicals Clearinghouse has their chemical hazard database, and TaxNot PBC as well.